The Adventures of Wolf Ma. Jeremiah Curtin. Native American, North American. A brother and sister lived together. The brother loved his sister so well that he did not want her to work. He did all the work himself. Each morning when he was starting off to hunt, he said to her, "You mustn't go out," and he fastened the door. When he came home in the evening, he cooked, and after they had eaten, he said to his sister, "Lie down and sleep. I'm going to a council." The sister never knew when her brother came home, but when she wakened in the morning, he was cooking. The girl didn't like to be fastened in. She said nothing, but all the time she was thinking how she could get out of the house. At last, a night came when her brother started off forgetting to fasten the door. Then she determined to follow him to the council. She found his tracks, and after following them a long distance, came to a house. She pushed the skin door aside and went in. An old man sat by a fire, making a wooden ladle. He looked up and said, "Thank you, my niece. I have waited a long time for you to come." "I have come to get you to do something for me," said the girl. "Dana, I expected that you would ask me to do something for you. There, there, take your choice." And he pointed to a pile of ladles, Natatomone. "It isn't a ladle that I want." "What is it then?" "Anyone who wishes for something asks for it. Warna, I want you to destroy my brother. He keeps me fastened into the house." "I can't do that. Your brother has great power. Perhaps my brother who lives near here can. He has greater power than I have." The girl went on. She soon came to an opening, and in the opening was a house. She went to the house and, looking through a crack, saw an old man making bark balls. "Come in," called the old man. "I have been expecting you."
First and some chord.
But it does an up of all its kind of some anodistics. If we're going to special in use, this is some Western communion and solely lot of Tao. And is the or on here. And there is where it is some of the US it is a folder. We'll have to save. It is so people have doctor of mechanic actions there, and is
"There they are. Take your choice," said the old man, pointing to a pile of balls. "I don't want a ball." "What do you want?" "I want you to destroy my brother." "I can't destroy him, but I can make him go a long way off." "Do that," said the girl. "This is what you must do," said the old man. "When you get home, begin to help about the cooking. Tomorrow morning, just as the sun comes up, look toward the south till you see me. I shall come in the form of a white turkey. When you see me, call to your brother, 'Oh, catch that turkey. I want it for a pet.' He will say, 'I have never heard of anyone's having a turkey for a pet.' Then say, 'Kill it for me.' Stand just back of the door, and as he draws to shoot, push the door, hit the arrow, and make it glance off. Then your brother's courage will appear. He will say, 'I have never been outrun,' and he will chase me." The next morning, the girl insisted on helping her brother cook. Just at sunrise, she saw a turkey coming from the south. When it was near the cabin, she called out, "Oh, brother, catch that white turkey. I want it for a pet." "Who ever heard of having a turkey for a pet?" asked he. "Well, kill it for me." The man fixed an arrow in his bow, and as he let it fly, the girl shut the door so quickly that it hit the arrow and sent it away from the turkey. Then off ran the man to catch the bird. The two ran till midday, the turkey always a little ahead. Then the turkey called out, "Let us rest. Mark where you stop, and I will mark where I stop." After resting a while, they started again and ran till dark. Then the turkey called out, "Let us rest till morning." Oka. The man lay down at the foot of a tree. The turkey roosted in a hemlock not far away. Early the next morning they started, rested at midday, and when the sun went down, they stopped for the night. For 10 days they ran. Then the man began to gain on the turkey. The 11th day they were running along the edge of a precipice when the turkey turned, ran around the man, and pushed him over the cliff, saying, "This is the kind of man I am. I cannot be overcome." At the bottom of the cliff was a swift river. The man struck the water and floated down till he came to a fish dam made by the women of the river. He lodged in the dam. Soon, two girls came to the river to see if they had caught many fish. One said to the other, "Look, there's a dead man in the dam. Run and tell mother to come." Vărpai mării sie sukjedom draga da izme djučteni. Eta tra krotavi se svadralju I to rabalaš tučušund atmodeza ronate čtadnjezu. "It is the wolf-marked man," said the mother. "He has never been overpowered before." They carried the man to the house and began to work over him. In a short time he opened his eyes, but he would not speak. By motions he made the girls understand that he wanted to smoke. One of the girls looked around for a pipe. Then he motioned for his pouch. She found a pipe in the pouch and was about to light it when he motioned her to give it to him. He put the pipe between his lips and, drawing twice or 3 times, lighted it. The smoke gave him strength, and soon he said, "Hang skin blankets around me." The old woman said, "From now on, you will be my son, and these girls will be your sisters." The women took great care of Wolf-marked, and he was soon as well as ever. One day steps were heard outside. The door was kept open and a man came in. "I've come to give you some puddings," said he, as he threw down a lot of nasty bark. He went off, and the women swept out the bark. "Have you a bow and arrows?" asked Wolf-marked. The old woman gave him a bow and arrows. He dusted the bow and straightened the arrows, then stringing an arrow and saying to it, "Go and kill a bear," he shot it through the smoke hole. Soon a noise was heard outside. The women went to the door and found a bear lying dead on the ground. They skinned it and, cutting up the meat, put it where it would dry. The next morning, a man kicked the door open and was about to throw down a bundle of nasty bark when he saw the meat and, knowing there must be a man around, he turned and ran off. Soon afterward, Wolf-marked said, "A man is coming to visit me. When he gets here, let him come inside the skin blankets." He had always stayed behind the blankets the women hung up when he first came. The next morning, when the dew was getting off the grass, the women saw a man coming. He was unkempt and shabby. When he reached the house, the mother told him to go behind the skins. The women heard the 2 men talking. Toward night, shabby man came out and went away. In a few days, the same man came again. This time he brought the news. The chief's daughters were to marry, but their husbands must be men who possessed powerful spirits. spirits that could take any form they liked, walk around the fire and scatter wampum beads. Will you try? Asked the shabby man. Buf mistaka ushnyam avalia shahanit legenda shabby man omr tandrede. Aktu ashwar ke ektu aravne lagiana mairku. Unamadu anisthada diwandu makedni irla tarakul alla shabby man na axleti. Adi innalu avengani teletiaga. Akarevi pradukele portargu yonadu. The power of the first man who tried was in a fisher pouch. He called the pouch to life and sent it around the fire. It went halfway, then dropped down. A pouch again.
Ani atabotezi isanifanipu iseyupumi. Bine paka magainka melo kumatomo. Bine paka magainia mayoki mawamenia. Wayoki maumi. Mayoki maitampo mupani katike mayoisi yopu. Mayoki na umi nepoyezu oyoki wenia iya. Minepa niya uami oyo tuzuruka ni mani jia.
After a while, the chief said to the people, "Go home now, but come again tomorrow night." The next day, shabby man urged Wolfmarked to go to the chief's house and try his power. At last, Wolfmarked said, "I will go tomorrow night."
Chanami aulo hajjugi ganakuru yaudubine itchiyo netichasa chiligal waki but yet to eat. Maybe to the truth. I see a carme to Indiga man. Evan water. I pay you.
Did the end that I mean, heck, stumble drink, but the witch, in the mirror, and the homie.
What's wrong in it?
What she names, reach at the pea, string it, nigga, just go away. Now, if it the ground, it's blick was it? Growing in this cut. Couldn't you look? What is Anta Edwin? But the chick stick. Oh, now, name is Evans. The Nellas get a play and you don't know too. What's this big? What deviation to earn for the inside? Let's get us. I will feed me the way well only I come to change your week. He's a week. Is this your date night? The leader was given a candle order law for more than I can do. I prefer X me. You make me as a and now you may hey, but the thing to play I know big about the channel go away, but I will have a look. I find the record straight. I'm voice in the man. I call by them a belly. 25 and the woman make what's met. Hello, and yellow. Things of guys from the hell can be self bull car. My netty, me, man. Another joking is a man of such a big machine. I don't think that here is the moment you from the earth, which I guess we know. Not to live out play, but it's in the same way. If you take a shed, they got up to the shed at times. When fellow with you, whacking me. They're ready. It's the one that we buy nine. Oh, play we take complete club of the plate. No man had this provided them. Harrison, he nashing to that what to click sheep out with me. It's the walk the game. What the clothes your mom, what did I need to first pretend? Perfect. Back with the Brendan's curls, hard work. First one's rare. Let me let no best of the flight, and I was wearing no fix. This the perfect the engine of the idea. Venom and let the body weapon. When you show me tie up, was natural mama's the hell is that mission for that familiar can he kill me? 40 years name. But the whole of my work. I just want to think well, and then yet be best of the in the effort to burn the free grim, yeah. 4 well, even holding the big lamp, but it's had a quality when cleaning us one with the baby. But the more diamond caterpillar is they get the corner money. That's made like the tape. Since they have this things and I like to take in this man. Since you were from Melai, my take, but to the mid play like a rat. He wants less than pushing you up and then they are in 2 minutes. No, maybe some miracle. Or him. And if I get eliminated, now what do you? I'll look at when didn't you laugh here? You say Mars and look to poison. He was and probably you said how if he many after in the piano thing to whatever. I'm bad. But I love and chap with police, you know. Nick looking at it and make rooms and those steady couple nails must have help everything. I'll put them easily. I'm just another En Kim, right? Little we just double Kim. And if the litten to the ears, but get up. That'll like. But no, Chinking does get it. We let it. We're kan kid dat het de potje is literally stuck on the cliff. We're holder. Yeah, dolly the miller roll one that is for merlay. So when find your edible sounds to try to make it can take the yes and be fake cuz I look at that would work like couldn't get each would start. One is nobody fake our bar. All the why still play up pick no agree and next jam niggers that are well, that's me. No, beer alone exciting. This has the course to talk about on orange her more life. We are yes, they're not like because of move on. Well, help you out there because there was evidence again here. Now that name for God, I'm sure this but name things. Ginger, anyways, Jim Mag, Bray, if you're the my holy like Harry, you are here. The streets things such a good man. We late especially in Gallon Milk to the roof of the West. Like the knock, the 40 with Lamir, Lam, because I think this has the course to talk about orange to her more like copy like well as because
After a while, the chief said, "Go home now. We will try again tomorrow." That night, when Wolfmark was walking around outside thinking what he could use to show his power, he heard a noise, and then a voice said to him in a whisper, "I have come to help you. Here is a pouch. You will find another pouch inside of this one. Your friend will use the mud turtle pouch. The fawn pouch is yours. But you must not go to the chief's house. Let the old woman and shabby man go. Inside the pouches are little pieces of medicine for the woman and shabby man to put in their mouths when they blow. When they are in the chief's house, they must sit side by side. The woman will take the mud turtle pouch, shake it till it grows large and comes to life. Then shabby man will set it down and tell it to go around the fire and not to let anything stop it. When the turtle gets around, the woman must put the fawn pouch down, bring it to life, and tell it to go around the fire. When the turtle and fawn have won, shabby man must take one of the chief's daughters and go to his own home. The other daughter must come to you." Wolfmark took the pouches and thanked his friend. The next morning, just at daylight, Shabbyman came and asked, "Are you ready?" "I am ready," answered Wolfmark. "Well, let us try our power and see if we are going to succeed." "We will succeed," said Wolfmark. "Let us try so as to get used to doing it," urged Shabbyman. "Kakatinnim Sarka." Shabbyman asked a long time. Then he went off, but he soon came back and began again. Asked till he was tired, went off and again came back to tease Wolfmark to try his power. All day he kept going and coming back to urge again. At dark he said, "We must start now, or we will not get seats." "Wait a while," Anna said his friend. "They will give us seats when we get there." Shabby man was disappointed. "Won't you go?" asked he. No, my mother will go in my place." "A failure." "You will not fail," said Wolfmark. On the road, Shabby man said, "Let us hurry," and he went ahead and waited. When the woman overtook him, he again urged her to walk fast. At last, they were there. When the people saw Shabbyman and the woman, they wanted to throw them out, but the chief said, "Let them stay." When Shabbyman's turn came, he put the piece of medicine in his mouth. The woman put down the turtle pouch and urged the turtle on. The people began to call for a close of the meeting. Shabby man insisted on trying and said, "Oh chief, give us a chance." The chief said to the people, "Sit down and give them a chance." They did all they could to obstruct the turtle, but it came around to the starting point. Shabbyman picked it up and gave it to the woman. She shook it and made it small. It was again a pouch. Shabbyman got up and took his place by the chief's daughter. Likue chief toda diwa. The people said, "Now we will go home." But the woman insisted on having a chance. They got up to go, but she cried at the top of her voice, "Come back and let me try." If I succeed, I have someone to marry the chief's daughter. The chief said, "Sit down and let the woman try." She got the fawn skin pouch out and shook it. It became a live fawn. She put it down and told it to run around the fire. It was around in a flash. Bivem kondogalla. The chief said, "This is the end. What I required has been accomplished." Everyone went home, with shabby men, when the chief's elder daughter. The next morning, men came to Wolfmarkt and said, "Achikim, she must come to me," said the young man, "and shabby man and his wife must come too." So Felachikati, the three came, and Wolfmarkt was the husband of the chief's younger daughter. The men hunted and killed plenty of game. The women took care of the skins and cooked. Some time passed. The men of the village were jealous of Wolfmarkt. They plotted against him. They put up a long pole and said, "Whoever can lodge a ball on the top of the pole will win. We have a man who can do it. We will challenge Wolfmarkt and he will lose. The wager will be 7 heads." As the woman and her daughters sat in the house, they saw a man coming on a run. The door flew open, and in he came. When he saw Wolfmarkt, he said, "I have come to challenge you to lodge a ball on the top of a pole. The wager is 7 heads on each side." "Very well," said Wolfmarkt. "That is the game I amuse myself with." When the runner left, the old woman began to cry and lament. "Don't cry," said Wolfmarkt. "Nothing will happen to us." She only cried the harder and wailed that he would surely lose, and then the 7 members of the family would be destroyed. But after a time, he was able to quiet her. That night, when Wolfmarkt was standing outside and thinking about the challenge, thinking that maybe he would lose, he heard a whisper and a voice said, "When you were challenged, you said, 'That is the game I amuse myself with. This will come true. Don't use their ball and don't begin the game. Here is the ball you are to use, and here is a piece of medicine for you to put in your mouth when you go to the place. With it in your mouth, blow against their ball." Next morning, when it was time to go, Shabby Man said, "I am sick, I can't go." "Couldn't you bet 3 against 3? Thought the woman, her 2 daughters on our side." "No," said Wolfmarkt. "We have agreed 7 against 7. We must all go as your law." When they reached a place, they saw a long pole standing in the center of an opening. 7 men were standing near the pole. They were the wager on the chief's side. Now Wolfmarkt and his wife, the mother and her 2 daughters, and Shabby Man and his wife stood together as a wager on Wolfmarkt's side. Stuck into the pole was a great flint knife with which to cut off their heads. The chief asked Wolfmarkt to begin the game. When he refused, a man on the chief's side picked up the ball, rubbed it a long time, and threw it in the air. It came down, hit the top of the pole, and bounded back and went up again. Wolfmarkt was blowing against it, and he had the medicine in his mouth. At last he said in his mind, "Let the ball fall." It came to the ground. Then the chief gave it to Wolfmarkt and said, "Now it is your turn." "I have a ball of my own," said Wolfmarkt, and he refused to take the chief's ball. He said to his own ball, "Be faithful. Don't fall. Stick to the pole." Each man on the chief's side was wishing with all his power that the ball would fall to the ground. The 7 of Wolfmarkt's party were wishing it to stay on the pole. There was great excitement.
Hussa! The ball struck the top of the pole and stayed there. "You have won the game," said the chief.
That is what I expected. I knew that we would win, said Shabbyman, and straightway he cut off the 7 heads, the chief's wager.
Wolfmart and his friends went home and were happy, but the men of the village were still plotting. After a good deal of talk, one of the men said, "This is what we will do. I am the swiftest runner in the world. I have never been beaten. Challenge Wolfmarkt to run a race with me. We will run around the lake and the wager will be 7 heads." A man went to Wolfmarkt and notified him of the race and its conditions.
That is the game I like best, said he. I have never been beaten. I can't outrun anyone.
When the old woman heard of the challenge, she cried and lamented.
Stop crying, said Wolfmarkt. Nothing will happen to us. When everyone in the house was asleep, Wolfmarkt went outside and stood thinking what he could do to win. All at once he heard a whisper, and the voice said, "Come here." He went toward the voice and listened. Soon the voice said, "You are going to run a race. You said that you liked the game. You will not be disappointed this time. When the runner finds that you are winning, he will throw back a buffalo horn. It will stick in your foot. Pull it out and throw it at him as hard as you can. You will win." The next morning, Wolfmarket said to his family, "Get ready." "I'm sick," said Shabbyman. "I can't go." "You must go," said Wolfmarket. "The wager is 7 heads. We must all be there." When they reached the place, they saw a crowd of people and 7 men standing a little to one side. They were the chief's witchy. The chief said, "Each runner must take hold of a long pole and run against that hickory tree over there. Bend the tree down, drawing the pole across it. When the pole comes off from the top and the tree springs back, drop the pole and run." The pole was of red willow. The runners started exactly at midday, the chief's runner holding one end of the pole, Wolfmark the other. They had to pull hard to bend the tree over. Just as they got the pole near the top, the chief's runner let go of his end and Wolfmark was thrown far back beyond the crowd of people. He sprang up and saying, "I have never been beaten." He gave a whoop and ran. His opponent was out of sight. People shouted with joy. Shabbyman rolled on the ground and cried, "Oh, we are beaten, we are beaten." If he had only said that the wager would be 1 head and that his own, that's a fun. When Wolfmart got out of sight, he called a mole and said, "You see that man running? Get ahead of him." Wolfmarkt went into the mole. The mole went under the ground and came out ahead of the runner, who wasn't going very fast, for he thought Wolfmart was up or behind. After a while, he saw a track and thought, "Can he be ahead?" Then he ran swiftly but didn't see anyone. Looking again at the tracks, he said in his mind, "He is ahead." And taking a buffalo horn out of his pouch, he told it to go to the young man and stick in his foot, and he threw it. The horn overtook Wolfmart, and as one of his feet came up, it went into it, and he fell to the ground. He tried to pull the horn out, but couldn't. As the chief's runner passed, he called out, "Get up!
I never before saw a man sit down when he was running a race. Now, just then, Wolfmark's whispering friend said to him, "Pull the horn out, throw it, and say, 'Go fast and enter the runner's foot so deep that he can't get you out.'" Wolfmark pulled the horn and ran on. He hadn't gone far when he saw his opponent sitting on the ground trying to get the horn out of his foot. "Stop and help me," begged he. "I didn't say that when you sent the horn into my foot," said Wolfmark, and he ran on. All the people were watching to see which runner was ahead. The chief's party said, "We might as well begin to cut off those heads. We will cut off seats, then take Wolfmark's when he comes." A man seized a flint knife and ran to Shabby Man. But the chief called to him, "Wait till the runners get here." At last they saw one runner. Then the crowd shouted, "Our man is coming! Our man is coming!" When the runner came a little nearer, people began to feel uneasy. They were not quite sure that it was their man. Then they saw that it was Wolfmark. Shabby Man looked up. He had been sitting with his head down, thinking that right away B was going to lose his life. And he called out, "Just as I told you, I knew Wolfmark would win." When the runner came near, he called to his friend, "Why don't you take the wager?" Up jumped Shabby Man, and soon 7 heads were lying on the ground. Derry Popperdin twin boys were born to Wolfmark, and they were marked exactly as he was. When the first one was born, the father picked him up and threw him over the skin enclosure where he himself had stayed when he first came to the old woman's cabin. And as he threw the child, he said, "This, my first son, must grow to be a powerful man." When the second child was born, he threw it over the enclosure and said, "This, my second son, must grow to be a powerful man." Nobody paid any attention to the children. After time, talking was heard. Then a voice said, "Father, we want a club and a ball to play with." Wolfmark threw in a ball and a club. Some days passed. Then one of the boys called out, "Father, we are tired of the club and ball. We want a bow and arrows." For a time they were satisfied. Then one called out, "Father, we want to go for ant." "Very well. When you start, go in the direction the sun goes, and don't let anything stop you." The boys started. They went through a wide valley and climbed a hill at the end of the valley. They were walking along quietly when the younger brother called out, "Stop, brother, and look at this." "No," answered the elder brother. "Our father told us not to stop. Pravda mani." Namayiva jani, yada ko kajia bote vente panomi wajai, correspond laral. Yung ko parasdu azena peravai naemsi socho itani. They had traveled a number of days when the younger boy asked, "Brother, what would frighten you most?" "Our father told us not to be frightened by anything," answered the elder boy. "What would you be afraid of?" "Of Big Head, Boliviant." That minute, the boys heard a great noise. From the southwest came a terrible roar. The elder brother kept on. The younger was frightened, but When Big Head was near, he said to himself, I won't be afraid. That minute, the roar and wind ceased. Alituni sedi, angondo trail, tinkeredi. Kangon onundidi. Ango nekkar nein nortella. Angat nuti. The elder brother glanced at the tracks and went on. The younger stopped and, looking at the tracks, said, Let us follow them and find out what is going on. Our father told us not to stop, answered his brother. It won't take long. We can come right back, urged the younger. The elder brother yielded, and they followed the footprints. They had not gone far when a man of enormous size came along, seized the boys, and tucking one under each arm, walked off. Soon he came to a village, and going into a hut at the edge of it, said to men sitting around, I have brought game. We will notify the people. The boys were taken to the longhouse in the center of the village. 2 large kettles were brought and made ready. As people came in, they went up and looked the game over. When the chief came, he looked also, but what he saw frightened him. Right away he said, Free these boys. They are the sons of the wolf-marked man. If we harm them, he will destroy us. He is the most powerful man in the world. Pacemakers, Resha, Preda, they liberated the boys, and the two traveled on till they came to a beautiful country. I think that our aunt is near here, said the younger boy. Oh, no, said the elder. She must be far away at Pakala. The young brother insisted that his aunt was near, and he began to look around. The elder stopped and watched him. The boy came to a hollow tree, and in the opening saw the body of a woman. Come here, brother, called he. I have found our aunt. He struck the woman with his arrow. She didn't move. Then he struck her twice with his bow and said, Your brother has sent for you. Mike, the woman moved and rose up a little. Her face was covered with the scabs and sores, and she was frightful to look at. The younger boy rubbed her with the saliva. Their scabs fell off, and she was well. Then the boy saw that she was a fine-looking woman. Now we will go home, said the younger brother, and the three started. Wolf-marked had forgiven his sister for trying to destroy him. He was glad to see her. After this, they all lived together happily.